I want to thank the sex worker community. They have shared their stories. They have shared their life experience with me over the years. My deepest respect. Thank you. I share this with you.
Maybe not. Let's bring back our panel. Danica Patrick, host of Pretty Intense Podcast, and Savanah Hernandez, a Turning Point USA contributor. Thanks, guys, for joining us. Really appreciate you taking the time.
Of course.
I want to get to this first because this came across early this morning. Congresswoman AOC did an interview with NPR in which she was addressing the fact that Tom Homan said, hey, you can't be warning people of ICE raids, which AOC was absolutely doing. I want to play you this clip and get both of your reactions to whether or not AOC is about to duke it out with the Department of Justice. Watch this.
Homan was upset, I suppose, because he felt that you were giving advice to people who were here illegally. Mm-hmm. Were you?
I was giving advice to all of my constituents. Yeah.
He said he was going to report you, or even that he did reach out to the Department of Justice. Have you heard from the Department of Justice?
I have not, and I intend on reaching out to the Department of Justice to inquire.
Really? What would your question be for the Department of Justice?
Well, there is a member of the Trump administration who is threatening and seeks to open an inquiry, and are you going to do it?
One, illegals are her constituents, and two, she actually is herself, I guess, going to reach out to the DOJ and say, hey, are you guys investigating me? Savanah Hernandez, I'd love to start with you, especially since you're big on this immigration issue. First of all, what is AOC thinking? And second, do you think that this is going to play out in her favor from a legal perspective?
You know, Jobob, the left wing for the last 4 years has been allowed to break the laws, and they have actually been, cheered on by our own DOJ, and they've been allowed to do whatever they want. So it's going to be really interesting to see how this plays out. I know that AOC actually already did send her letter to Pam Bondi, like, hey, are you guys going to be investigating me? I would love to know. Regarding how this plays out legally, just like everybody else in America, I'm waiting to see. But it's just hilarious to see people like AOC come forward and again, put the wants, right, of illegal immigrants above American citizens. I mean, this is not something that's new, not something that's surprising, but for the first time, we are actually going to see some repercussions for these actions. So it'll be interesting.
Yeah, Danica, did we see AOC intentionally break the law, or is this an admission that illegals do vote, especially in her district? Because then I think technically they would be, quote unquote, her constituents. What do you think?
Well, can we have both? I think I'll take A and B. A and B, letter C is my answer. Well, to start it off, it's not a very smart thing that she's done, yet I'm pretty sure she was the one that accused Elon Musk of not being very smart. So not such a good look. And yes, I think this is an indication that these are her fans. These are her constituents. These are the people that she hopes in the future will be around to put her where she wants to be. But at the end of the day, this is probably illegal and at least not a good look. And she's not playing for the right team right now.
Yeah, to echo both your points, it's definitely probably illegal, and it'll be really interesting to see how the administration handles it, because a bunch of these people in Congress have been spouting off their mouth for so long with no repercussions, especially when they suggest things that are blatantly illegal. I'm excited and hopeful that there will be a crackdown. Moving on to this, the Oscars was last night, and Anora won the Best Picture. Now, this, if you don't know this already, and there's a reason why I think most people wouldn't know this, was a movie about a sex worker, a prostitute, that fell in love and ran into a Russian oligarch and their story of love and all of that sort of floofiness. I want to play a clip from the acceptance speech of the director when he won Best Director, and then when they won Best Picture was later. But watch this clip and listen to who he thanks, and we'll get your thoughts.
I want to thank the sex worker community. They have shared their stories. They have shared their life experience with me over the years. My deepest respect. Thank you. I share this with you.
Maybe not. Danica, your thoughts on the guy thanking sex workers in his Oscar speech that was publicly broadcast to the national audience?
Yeah, I think I'd like to see a list of like his top 10 things that he respects. Because if that's on the list of something to be respected for, it's putting a lot of character into question, I think. What I mean, I'm not gonna lie. I got some caviar out and some potato chips and some creme fraiche and watched about 15 minutes of the Oscars last night and went, I haven't seen a single one of these movies. I've heard of Wicked, had not seen it, but I didn't hear of any other ones. So unfortunately, I did not watch this live, and that's okay with me.
Yeah, to echo your point, Savannah, I'd love to get you to comment on this. The Best Picture, Anora, garnered $16 million in the domestic box office, which basically means nobody watched it. Like, nobody went out to see it. And considering the fact that the libs have done this pretty routinely in the past, given awards to just random movies that fit their cultural narrative, do you think this is the best approach to win back the culture? Here, our goal is to chart the course of America's cultural comeback. And personally, I think this benefits us if this is the way that they are going to try and push their side of the culture. What are your thoughts?
Yeah, Jobob, this was described as a strip club Cinderella story, which I was like, okay, interesting sell. And then I was looking into the director, and he's done other short films on transgender prostitutes, porn stars, and of course, sex workers. So I just think that this is a hilarious push by Hollywood to try to make sex work accepted. And it's just not. It's not a natural thing. It's not something that we as society are ever going to accept or think is okay. And this, quite honestly, is the best example of that, right? These abysmal ratings, the abysmal, I guess, funding at the box office. But I was shocked seeing this morning on X. I was like, of course, the strip club Cinderella story is what we would be championing, at least Hollywood would be championing in 2025.
Yeah,
I believe Hollywood's done a good job of almost putting Disney out of business. And these are cartoons and kids. So we should be concerned about the narratives and the propaganda that's been thrown out there, and what kind of messaging that they're putting to the children these days.
Yeah, no, you're both right. I can also see it as, well, if these guys are going to sink their own ship, who am I to stop them? If they're going to punch themselves in the face, I don't want to get in the way. And if they can bankrupt themselves, have at it. I want to get both of your thoughts on the joint session of Congress tomorrow. President Trump is going to address the joint session of Congress. Savannah, I want to start with you. What do you think we can expect and look forward to?
I mean, I know that he's going to be talking about what he plans to do for the country. So I think we can expect a lot of really great things. We've already seen just in a little bit over a month, how drastically our country has changed, how great things have gotten, plans for the economy, plans for keeping America secure. So I think that we're going to continue to hear a lot of things that are really going to benefit the American citizen, which I know a lot of us are not used to.
Yeah, Danica, your thoughts. What do you want to hear in the joint session address from the president tomorrow night?
Well, one thing I'm sure we'll definitely hear a lot about is what he's already been doing. I think that having been at so many rallies and so much of the campaign trail, and also just hearing things that have happened since, there's a lot of messaging is about what also has been done. And the good news is there's a laundry list of amazing things that have happened and amazing people that have been put in place to get the job done, to make this country greater than it's ever been. But I hope that we'll hear some more on perhaps what's going to what's going to be done moving forward in the health department with RFK being in position now, perhaps what Tulsi's been up to with being the director of national intelligence and anything learned there. I know that recently, obviously, people were sent a letter about some actions that they'd had. So, cleaning house, I think that, that's at this point in time, what seems to be happening still is that, of course, it's only been, how many weeks has it been? 5 or so, 6 weeks. I mean, there's still a lot of cleanup that has to be done, and a lot of people that are not always telling the truth need to be taken out of position. So I'm sure that we'll hear about what's been getting done, but I of course hope to hear about what's happening on the health front, as that's one of those things that really got me involved with the campaign at all.
Yeah, that is going to be really exciting. Very, very quick. These are like yes or no answers to both of you. Do we think we will catch Chuck Schumer shaking his head in slow motion on the broadcast?
Absolutely. Absolutely.
Okay.
Yes.
What about this? Will we catch Congresswoman AOC with an eye roll live on the broadcast?
How many?
How many? I love it. Last, do you think, and this actually is a possibly a real question, do you think we'll see a split in the standing and sitting between Speaker Johnson and Vice President Vance? As in, will Vance stand up and Johnson stay seated, or do you think they'll be in congruency the entire time standing and sitting?
Mike Johnson better stand up. That's all I'm going to say.
I love it. Danica, what about you?
You know, I love JD. The guy is so confident. He's so well spoken. I think that he's going to lead the way, and everybody's just going to follow along.
Love it. Thanks to our panel, Danica Patrick, Savanah Hernandez. Appreciate you taking the time. Thanks. We'll have you back soon. Coming up, great clip from Alex Clark's Cultural Apothecary podcast, where she talks to Brett Cooper about what goes into her day from a health perspective. Don't go away. We'll be right back after this.